Yo, what is going on, Galaxy? It's your main star, Starfish back at you, and I got a late night video here. Not gonna be much editing. I'm just gonna run over what is Draft League. Okay, I saw somebody that didn't know what it was, and I wanted to have a video that was pretty easy to follow, and so it's a quick little rundown. Not gonna be that long, but yeah. So what's Draft League? Draft League in Pokemon is where there's a giant pool of Pokemon, and either you have points or you have in a some kind of limit on what you can grab. Okay, so I'm showing UDN, probably the league I'm the most active in. It has tiers. Okay, so you got here. I'll show up my team. Okay, this is my team. I'm the Mucha Haluchas, and we got to pick one tier two, two tier threes, one tier four, one tier five, a mega, and then we would have 400 free points. And free points, what you can do is, depending on your league, tiers have different values on how many free points that you get, and how they work. So, for example, in one league, a tier one could be worth 180 free points. So, if you take a tier one Pokemon as your one of your free Pokemon, so like Tapu Bulu, for example. Okay. It was actually a tier two in here, I think. Uh, no, Tapu Bulu was a tier one. Perfect. Right here. Over there. So what would happen was I would have my 400 subtracted by whatever the amount of tier one was. So say it was 180. My free points would go down from 400 to what, 280? Or no, if it was 180. I don't know math. Whatever. It's late for me and I'm tired. Anyway, but yeah, that's how that would work. And yes, that's this style. There's also styles where you draft Pokemon based on their smoke and tears. Um, I prefer the point-based ones, but yeah. So you there's typically around 12, like 8, 12, 16, sometimes 32 coaches. Okay, there's a bunch of coaches. So in the UDN, there is 4, 8. Okay, there's 16. There's 16 coaches, and what would happen was that we would be put in a randomized order. Um, so over here, I don't know, I don't have the order of the draft, but we have the order of when monster picked. So number one pick was the CAR, Coastal and Raichus, and they drafted a Celesteela. Okay, so what happened was that would become their tier one Pokemon, because if you look over at the dock, which most leagues will have for you, if they don't, then it's a bad league. That's as simple as that. Celesteela is a tier one, so therefore nobody else can pick Celesteela. It is off the board. Yeah, so you are no longer allowed to grab that. Nobody else can grab it. Okay? And then the next person would go. So it was the Minnesota Timberwolves. Okay? Right here, they grabbed Infernape round one. So that was their tier two. So over here, tier two, where's it? Infernape right there, right in the middle. It is not taken. Nobody else can grab it. And yeah, so and it keeps going down. Okay, and typically it's called a snake draft. So since we had 16 coaches, what would happen was it would go from one, pick one, all the way down to pick 16. Okay, and then the 16th person or the last person in the draft rotation will pick two Pokemon known as the wheel pick. Uh, with the wheel pick, you pick your first mon, okay, and then you pick a mon for round two. So yes, round in drafts there's rounds. Okay, so 1 through 16, that was all round one. Okay, so it went down the line, and then it would go from the 16th person going back up. So it goes the 16th person to the 15th to the 14th. So you can see, it went from the 13th being the New Jersey Knockdowns to the 14th being the Basil Bastiodons, I think they are. Um, 15 being, I have no idea, honestly. And then it goes to the 16th, to the GRG. Okay, that's round one done. Then it goes to round two, where it starts at the bottom and it goes to the GRG into the REM to the BAS to the NG, NG. N. Okay, so it's a pattern. So it goes from 1 to 16, and then 16 back up to 1. Okay, and then 1 will get their free pick. Or not their free pick, their wheel pick. And as you can see, he picked 2 Pokemon here. That's because it was his wheel. Um, the worst picks, the worst pick place to have is right in the middle of the draft. So like being, say there's 12 people, being like like the 6th is a terrible spot. You never want to be the 7th or the 6th. The 16th or the last spot, everyone always, a lot of people you'll hear will say that, damn, it's such a terrible pick, all the good mons are going to be gone, okay? It's like, yeah, if you look over here, Celesteela went, Kieran Black, Zygarde 50, Tapu Koko, Mega Mawile, or not Mega Mawile, Mega Lopunny, and then Mega Mawile, Mega Latias. You'll be like, damn, they all just disappeared. Now what? Well, what you can do with your draft is you get your core, okay? And there's different cores, but I'm only going to go over 2 of them. So you can have a Fairy Dragon Steel core, okay? That's a very good core. I think it's, yeah, I would say it's better than the next core. So you'd have 1 Steelmon at least. Okay, so my Steelmon was Stakataka, okay? Then my dragon, which is Latios, and then my fairy, which is Alolan Ninetales, okay? That is very good coverage for each other, okay? So then, what would happen is you would then also want to grab a fire, water, grass core. Being mine was a Blacephalon, I can't touch it. Blacephalon, I had a Swampert, and then I had Bulu, okay? That's a very strong fire, water, grass core. Um, and teams are not always about bulk, but they're also not always about offense. There's things called speed tiers, and speed tiers are very important because if you do online laddering, you can tell that, okay, obviously you want to have at least 1 fast Pokemon, right? Like a Scarfed Pokemon, maybe, or Greninja, because you want to outspeed the other people. Okay, so you want to have spread out speed tiers, so you want to have fast and slow Pokemon, but you want to have at least 1 very fast Pokemon. My draft, I messed up. Blacephalon is my fastest Pokemon, or no, not Blacephalon. My Mega Latios is my fastest at 110 base speed, which is not bad. It's very, very good, okay? I would say 100 and up is a really good, they're pretty good speed tiers, but you want to grab something that's at least 110 or higher. Because then people always have to know that. Note that you have a very fast Pokemon and they need to counter it. So, yes. Also, when you're drafting, I would recommend a dedicated stealth rocker. Okay, stealth rocks are very, very important in draft league format, and same with like removal. As in removal, it's hazard removal, being you can defog and you can rapid spin. Those 2 get rid of hazards like toxic spikes, uh, spikes, stealth rocks, and sticky webs. So you want to have at least 1 rocker, like a dedicated rocker. Mine was Swampert. Okay, he said stealth rocks. It's typically ground types and rock types. Some steels as well are typically you're going to be rockers. Then you also want to have a removal, a dedicated removal. Mine, I had multiple removal. My dedicated removal was probably Latios. This is my old team. I have updated my team since then, but I'll get into that later. So Latios is here, okay, and that's my dedicated defogger. Okay, what defog does is it removes hazards on both sides of the field, and with stealth rock rapid spin, you can just spin away the hazards on your side of the field and keep the hazards that you set up on their side. Yeah. Let's see. I've went over cores that you want to grab those cores. You want bulky Pokemon are always nice to have. So I have Swampert, I have Stakataka. Those 2 are like very, very bulky. My new team, I actually have Skarmory, which is also a very, very good bulky bond. Honolulu Dancers to my right. Everyone knows he has a very bulky team. He's Milotic. He has Registeel, Aromatisse, Megalodios, Snorlax, Palisand. So he went for more of a bulky team, while I went for more of an offensive team. Blacephalon, Crocodile, Megalodi, Tapu Bulu, Ninetales, Alolan form, Hitmonlee. Those are all very offensive Pokemon. So either you can grab a hyper offense team like mine, you can grab a very bulky team like the Honolulu Dancers, or you can go in between like the Groningen Gallades here, being a fast Pokemon like Kartana, very offensive, to a bulky Pokemon like Necrozma and Araquanid with Porygon, to another offensive being Aerodactyl Zebstrika, bulky Mega Sableye, offensive and bulky Goodra, offensive Dugtrio, defensive Klefki, and offensive Typhlosion. Um, yes, so you can do those three are the most prevalent and best, I would say. But what you can see on all three of these teams is they all have what I said. They all have dedicated rockers. So for me, I have a Swampert or a Crocodile. Honolulu Dancers has Registeel. It also has Terrakion and Palisand. And then you look over Gurnigan Glades. They have Aerodactyl and Dugtrio and Klefki. And then you look at our removal, hazard removal. I have Latios, and I have Latios and Masquerain, which both remove. Honolulu Dancers, he has Zapdos and he has Megalodios. Then you look at Gurnigan Glades. He has Aerodactyl to Defog, and yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but he actually has removal though. Removal is very important. Because when hazards are up, you might think, oh, I'll just switch out. It's fine. But if you have a fire type, or a flying, or a bug, or I think ice as well, you will be taking 25% of your health just for switching in, which you need health. Health is amazing. It's very nice to have. So, what I would recommend is grab a dedicated rocker, being like a ground type, as in like Donphan. Donphan's a great one. He also spins away rocks. There is Palisand. Not a very good one, but I'm thinking about lower tier. Yeah. But you also want to have some removal. And if you have removal, then you'll be fine then. You want to have a nice mixture of physical and special attackers as well. That is a huge thing. With physical attackers, so I have Stack Attacker, Crocodile, Swampert, um, Bulu, and Hitmonlee. Then I have special being Blacephalon. I have, Kofag's kind of special. Electivire's mixed. Latios can be special. Ninetales can be special, and Masquerain can be special. So I have a nice mixture of both. So you never want to have all of one type of attacker. Okay. So next up, what should we go over? Well, let's go over the format of after the draft. That is pretty much everything basic that you can need about a draft. And yeah, so now it's down to the week. Okay? So each week, it's typically just 1 week away. Oh, Z Captains, your league will have different rules. You'd have to ask them about it. But for this one, we got to pick either a tier 1 and a tier 5, a tier 2, a tier 4, or two tier 3s. And I chose a tier 1 and a tier 5 for my Z users. But yeah. So next up, we have the battles. So what will happen when you are doing battles? Oops, sorry. Each week, so here, I will go over to our schedule, okay? And week 1, it says your Muchahaluchas, that is me, versus the Twitch Primates, which, if you look at over in this tab, it is this team versus this team. Oh, not this team. This team right here. Okay? So, by having those two, you know that you need to build for what can he possibly, or she can possibly bring. So, I look at his team, and I can look, okay, well, Mega Lopunny is a very scary Pokemon. I need a counter to that Pokemon. And I look at my team, I say, okay, well, Kofa Grigus can wall that thing. As in wall, I mean defensively counter it. Typically known as walling. So I want to bring my Kofagrigus. But then I had to look at his team and say, man, what scares out my Kofagrigus? And then I look, and I keep looking, and then I see, oh, well, if I'm bringing a physical, his special Hydreigon could really hurt. So then I need something to hurt his Hydreigon. And then I think, what is Hydreigon's weakness? It is quad weight to fairy, so I should bring my fairy, aka Alola Ninetales. So I can bring Alola Ninetales and think, okay, what does he bring that can hurt my Alola Ninetales? And what moves can I bring on my Pokemon to hurt his Pokemon I'm expecting him to bring? So I've already done this week, obviously. I'm on like week 9 of this league. Um, he brought a Victini, he brought Ferrothorn, Nidoqueen, he brought his Mega Lopunny, Zeraora, Togetic. Oh no, wait, no Victini, I'm sorry. Ferrothorn, Nidoqueen, Mega Lopunny, Hydreigon, Zeraora, and Togetic, okay? So I had to think, oh, okay, well, what is he going to bring? And if I were to predict those, what I should do is I need a Pokemon that I feel could beat all of his. Or not even beat all of them, but come in and clean up. Which is the process of once the opponent's team is weakened, and you get rid of their defensive check to one of your Pokemon, you come in and you just sweep the rest of the game. So let's just say it was Megalodios for me. I felt like Megalodios could win me this game. So what I would do is my focus would be to weaken down his team, predict what he's bringing, and have coverage. Coverage is like, it's pretty self-explanatory. Say he has a water type Pokemon, I want to bring grass type moves as coverage on like my Latios, okay? Or an electric type move like Thunderbolt, which Latios does get. So, say he had a bulky water type, being his Jellicent, I could just bring Latios and bring Thunderbolt on it, so I could have coverage for a Pokemon I don't normally hit super effectively. So, it's very nice to always have coverage. Um, I'm just gonna go over basic stuff, so I'm not gonna go over speed creeping, but yeah, that's about it for the prepping, okay? Then, when you get into the battles, so I'm gonna actually pause this recording and hop into a battle. Or a replay. Okay, so I hopped into the replay of that exact battle that I was talking about. So, I felt that I could win with Latios. And I hop onto here, whether it's on, um, Pokemon Showdown, or maybe it's even on the actual game. Uh, you hop into your battle. It's a 6v6 typically, whatever format the Pokemon battle is in, or the league has, you play. And so I predict, I look at his team, and typically you want to lead with your hazard setter, so you can get all the hazards up and going, and it punishes your opponent for switching ever after that. So, by me thinking, okay, well, maybe he's going to bring his Ferrothorn in as a lead, because if he has his Ferrothorn as leader, he can set up his Spikes or his Stealth Rocks. So, we lead Latios. So, what I felt was that with my Latios, I could set up with like a Calm Mind on this Ferrothorn, or or I can just hit it with a strong move. And yeah, so that's what I'm thinking. But actually, that's what I should have thought. But when I did play this game, I was expecting him to lead his Mega Lopunny, because that thing would do very good damage to whatever I switched in. So I resume, okay? So he has to switch out because he's afraid of my move. He does not want to lose his Pokemon early, because once you lose the game, it's on your record. And so he goes Togetic, because he knows his Togetic can stop me. So I just go for a Psychic, expecting the Mega Lopunny to come in, because I could have easily just clicked Calm Mind there, being a setup move. And yeah, so he goes into Hitmon, and that's practically how it goes. I'm not going to go through this entire thing, but yes. Yep, it's a 20-minute video so far, so I'm probably going to cut it here. I have went over practically all the basics to Draft League. Let me know if you want me to do an advanced one. I might ask some friends out to help me out with that one. But yeah, let me know, and I'll see you guys later. I hope it helped.